The Eclipse II Super Star Destroyer was the greatest Imperial dreadnought of all time, the Emperor's final flagship, and the instrument which effectively ended the Empire. For Palpatine, the Galactic Empire was always meant to be a stepping stone to something greater, and immediately after its formation, Palpatine was imagining the next stages of Sith rule throughout the galaxy. At the heart of this new imagined order would be a powerful military, overshadowing everything that came before, anchored by two Star Destroyer classes, the Eclipse and the Sovereign, vessels which, even in name, conveyed Palpatine's goal of singular domination of the universe through the dark side of the Force. While the 15-kilometer-long Sovereign was intended to serve as a frontline vessel in the new Dark Empire, perhaps replacing the standard Imperial Star Destroyer, the Eclipse would be the command ships of Palpatine and his most trusted servants. It was designed to spec by the Sith Lord himself, and by the Battle of Yavin, two of these ships were under construction, the Eclipse I and the Eclipse II. The Eclipse I is far more well known by mainstream fans, which is why I've chosen to cover the second. Briefly, however, the Eclipse I was built mostly at Kuat until the shipyards were assaulted by the New Republic and the vessel stolen by crime lord Tiber Zahn. After its recovery, the Eclipse I was moved to Biss, the secret Imperial deep core throne world, to finish construction. The Eclipse II, on the other hand, was built entirely at Biss and did not see action before the launching of Operation Shadow Hand, the reborn Palpatine's assault against the New Republic in 11 ABY. Let's talk specifications. Like her sister ship, the Eclipse II was 17.5 kilometers long, shorter than an Executor-class Super Star Destroyer, but significantly more massive overall. The two, however, did have several significant design differences. She had larger and more numerous engines, likely resulting in more overall thrust. This is important as one of the main features of the Eclipse line is its spinally mounted super laser, which, although not as powerful as the Death Star's main weapon, can still destroy planetary shields, raise continents, and easily obliterate enemy capital ships. For reference, the Death Star uses 8 component beams, while the Eclipse uses 1. The singular beam on the Eclipse, however, has been heavily magnified and upgraded, so the vessel may have up to, say, 25% of the Death Star's destructive potential. As another note, a 2% shot from the Death Star's weapon destroyed a Lucrehulk-class carrier, so we're talking obscene amounts of firepower. How is this relevant to engines? Well, the super laser can only be fired in a straight line, so the entire Super Star Destroyer has to be moved to acquire new targets. The extra engine power hopefully allows the Eclipse II to maneuver and target enemies more effectively. Whether that's 100% accurate or not, I think it's clear that the engine designs, and indeed the other redesigns incorporated within the Eclipse II, were present for a specific reason. And one thing I'd like to draw attention to is the fact that, unlike the Eclipse I, the two spent its entire pre-launch life in the Biss shipyards. This meant, first of all, that no construction or development time was lost through conflict or rehoming. The Eclipse II also launched later, adding even more time. Something similar happened with the Lusankya and the Executor. They were both ships of the same line, but the Lusankya was buried under Coruscant and given extra R&D time. In the end, the Lusankya was more advanced and had especially better computer systems. What's more, Biss was also where the Empire performed most of their advanced superweapon research. The planet gave birth to the Galaxy Gun and the World Devastators, for example. So not only was the best technology here and could be integrated in the Eclipse II from the beginning of her construction, but Biss was also extraordinarily heavily guarded and its location was kept secret. So work could be done more freely and openly, especially when compared with Kuat. So I think the Eclipse II was probably a better ship overall, due to just more production time, the benefits of being built alongside cutting-edge research, and the fact that it launched later. Regardless, this is all more or less a moot point, as the two ships were so powerful, as with most of the Dark Empire's technology, that they were nearly, if not completely, impossible to destroy in standard space combat. Assuming the Eclipse line had relatively uniform specifications, the Eclipse II would have sported, at minimum, 50 TIE Interceptor and 8 TIE bomber squadrons, all carried within hangars large enough to transport Victory-class Star Destroyers. By the time of Operation Shadow Hand, the Eclipse II would have carried thousands of TIE droid and Shadow droid fighters. Additionally, she would have made use of hundreds of standard and heavy turbo laser and ion cannon batteries. One final thing to note is that the Eclipse II had a somewhat different superstructure, with a large tower near the super laser emitter. I think this probably served both as a secondary bridge and just extra superstructure to reinforce the fore of the vessel during rams. The Eclipse II officially entered service after its predecessor was destroyed by one of Palpatine's rogue Force Storms. It served as Palpatine's flagship during the late stages of Operation Shadow Hand. It showed absolutely no trouble shrugging off a New Republic armada at the Battle of Onderon. However, it was infiltrated, and a strike team comprised of Lando, Chewbacca, R2-D2, and Rebel troops managed to hack into the ship's control systems, bypassing the bridge, hijacking the navicomputer and hyperdrive, and sending the vessel jumping through hyperspace. It appeared at Biss, where it collided with the Empire's Galaxy gun. The gun, as it was careening with the Super Star Destroyer towards Biss, loosened a final torpedo, which destroyed the Dreadnought, the Armada, the planet, and everything in the vicinity. This is why I call the Eclipse II the instrument which effectively ended the Empire. Not only were thousands of vessels lost during the destruction of Biss, many of the Empire's top naval brass was also killed. Both Natasi Dala and Admiral Pelion attempted to reform the Empire after this, but both failed. And Operation Shadow Hand represents the beginning of the end for the Empire. But that's all today. Now, special thanks to E.C. Henry, who modeled the Eclipse II for this video. E.C. Henry has one of my favorite sci-fi channels on YouTube. He makes lots of unique content and also modeled my Forerunner Dreadnought from a few weeks back. I highly recommend you check out his channel. There will be a link down in the description and in the pinned comment. Anyway, until next time guys, this has been Eckhart's Ladder. May the Force be with you.